People often don't realize that a huge part of the unhappiness in their lives comes from the way they think and how they think about reality itself. Imagine waking up and, even before you've had your coffee, that little voice in your head is already whispering about what kind of day you're going to have. It rehashes yesterday's mistakes, projects tomorrow's worries, and critiques every move you make. That persistent chatter isn't really you. It's just a program running in the background. But what if I told you that everything you see, feel, and experience is actually part of a simulation? And once you truly understand that, the shift happens. Once you know you are in a simulation, everything changes. Today we're diving into a journey of discovery inspired by the teachings of Neville Goddard, blending simulation theory with spiritual insight. We're going to explore how realizing the programmed nature of your reality can free you to rewrite your own destiny. So, get comfortable and let's question everything we think we know about life. Let's start by asking the big question. What if the world you're experiencing isn't the real world at all? What if it's more like a sophisticated video game, a simulation, meticulously designed by forces or even your own mind? This idea might sound like science fiction, but it's been popping up in conversations for decades, from blockbuster movies like The Matrix to theories from top scientists and philosophers. The core idea is simple. Our reality is like a computer program, a set of codes and instructions that run behind the scenes. And here's where it gets wild. Neville Goddard, a teacher whose ideas about imagination and creation have inspired countless people, argued that our inner world actually creates our outer reality. In other words, the thoughts, beliefs, and images you hold in your mind are the very code that builds your world. You might be thinking, hold on, am I saying that my life is just a game? In a way, yes. But it's not a game in the trivial sense. It's a grand, intricate simulation where every thought, every feeling, and every moment is part of a larger design. And the moment you truly grasp this, when you realize that the so-called rules of reality are more like guidelines written by your own beliefs, you begin to see cracks in the illusion. You start noticing the glitches, those moments of déjà vu or unexpected synchronicities, which hint that there's more beneath the surface than what your eyes can see. This isn't about denying that you have feelings, challenges, or responsibilities. It's about understanding that your perception of these things is filtered through a mental program that you can, in fact, change. Just like a computer program can be debugged or rewritten, so too can the thoughts that shape your experience. And once you see that, the shift happens. It's like waking up from a deep sleep and realizing you've been living in a dream. The moment you know you're in a simulation, you step into a new realm of possibility where you're not just a passive player, but the very programmer of your destiny. Now let's dig a little deeper. What exactly does it mean to live in a simulation? Think back to ancient times when philosophers like Plato pondered the nature of reality with his famous allegory of the cave. People in the cave saw shadows on the wall and believed those shadows were the only reality. In a similar way, many of us take our everyday experiences at face value, not realizing that they might be mere reflections of a deeper, more complex truth. Modern science and philosophy have picked up this idea and given it a new twist. Some physicists suggest that the fabric of our universe might be made up of tiny, discrete units of information, bits that resemble the pixels on a screen. This concept has been explored by scientists like Nick Bostrom and even hinted at by some interpretations of quantum mechanics. Whether or not these theories are fully proven, they capture an essential truth. What you see isn't always all there is. At its core, the simulation idea challenges the notion that our reality is fixed and immutable. Instead, it suggests that reality is a fluid, dynamic construct that can be reshaped from within. Imagine your life as a computer game, where the rules are not set in stone, but are constantly being updated by your own beliefs, desires, and actions. Every decision you make, every thought you entertain, contributes to the unfolding narrative of your existence. And once you grasp this, the door opens to the possibility of radical change. When you start questioning the solidity of your reality, you might notice little glitches, moments where the world seems to pause, reset, or even contradict itself. These glitches are not failures. They're hints that the underlying code is more malleable than you might have assumed. They remind you that the simulation is running on a set of principles that can be accessed, understood, and even rewritten. And that's where Neville Goddard's teachings come in. He taught that by harnessing the power of your imagination, you can literally create new realities. Your inner dialogue isn't just noise, it's the blueprint for the world you live in. To truly understand this concept, let's turn to some metaphors. Picture a calm, clear lake. On a perfect day, the water is so still that it reflects the sky above like a flawless mirror. Now, imagine tossing a pebble into that lake. The ripples spread out, distorting the reflection. In many ways, your thoughts work like that pebble. The constant chatter, the doubts and fears, disturb the calm surface of your inner world, preventing you from seeing the clear, true reflection of your being. Another way to think about it is by picturing your mind as a computer. Every thought you have is like a line of code running in the background. For years, you've been operating on autopilot, accepting the default settings without question. But what if you discovered that you can edit that code? What if you realized that you have the power to reprogram your own reality? That's the essence of the shift we're talking about. Recognizing that the simulation isn't a prison, but a playground, and that the keys to unlocking its secrets lie within you. Consider the analogy of a cracked mirror. The mirror represents your perception of yourself and the world. When it's cracked, the reflection is distorted, showing you a fragmented, inaccurate version of reality. The inner voice, the constant commentary, creates these cracks, making you believe you're less than you are, or that you're confined by limitations that don't really exist. Once you see through these distortions, you can start to piece together a clearer, more authentic picture of who you truly are. It's also helpful to think of your thoughts as a kind of digital code. Just as a programmer can tweak and adjust code to fix bugs or add new features, you too can adjust your thought patterns. This idea isn't just abstract. It's backed by decades of research in fields like neuroscience and psychology. The brain is plastic, meaning it can change its wiring based on new experiences and deliberate focus. When you stop feeding the simulation with negative or limiting thoughts, you create space for something new, a new program that supports a richer, more fulfilling reality. Let's dive deep into Neville Goddard's ideas and see how they connect with the idea that our reality is like a simulation, a grand, dynamic creation of our own mind. Neville's teachings are all about understanding that our inner world isn't just a collection of random thoughts, but the very source of our outer reality. When you realize that, it's like you've discovered the secret code to your life. At the heart of Neville Goddard's work is a simple yet profound idea. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This isn't just about wishful thinking or daydreaming. It's a call to live from the inside out, to recognize that what you feel and imagine in your inner world has the power to shape everything around you. Imagine your thoughts and emotions as the raw material of your reality, a kind of digital code that you can edit and rewrite. Neville taught that every experience you have is a reflection of what you believe deep down, and once you start to change that belief system, you begin to see changes in your life. Think about it like this. Suppose you're watching a movie, but you suddenly realize you have the remote control. Up until that moment, you thought the movie was playing on its own, that you were just a passive viewer. But once you grasp that you have the power to pause, rewind, or fast forward, everything changes. That's the shift Neville wants you to experience. You're not stuck in a predetermined storyline. You're the director, the writer, and the producer of your own life. Neville's approach is refreshingly practical. He wasn't interested in abstract ideas that floated in the realm of what if. Instead, he offered concrete techniques that anyone could use. One of these is the art of revision. Imagine you have a mental recording of an event that didn't go the way you wished. A mistake, a moment of regret, or even a painful memory. With revision, you simply replay that event in your mind, but this time you change the outcome. You imagine a different ending, one where you acted with confidence, love, and wisdom. It's not about erasing what happened. It's about transforming the emotional impact and the meaning you attach to it. When you practice revision, you begin to see that the past isn't set in stone. It's malleable, like a program that can be updated. Another key technique Neville talks about is living in the end. This means that instead of waiting for a future event to happen, you start living as if it has already happened. Picture yourself wanting to achieve a dream job or a loving relationship. Instead of constantly chasing it, you immerse yourself in the feeling that you already have it. You adopt the mindset, the behaviors, and even the small habits that come naturally when your desire is already a reality. In doing so, you shift your state of being, and that new state creates a ripple effect in your life. It's like changing the settings on your internal computer so that the output, the world you experience, starts to reflect your new inner state. What's really amazing about Neville's teachings is how they dovetail with the idea that we're all living in a simulation. If you think of reality as a kind of digital construct, a simulation, if you will, then every thought, every emotion is like a line of code. And just like a computer program can be updated or reprogrammed, so can your mind. Neville's techniques give you the tools to do just that. They empower you to rewrite the script that has been running in the background of your life, the script that tells you you're limited, unworthy, or stuck. Instead, you can program a new story, one filled with possibility, abundance, and joy. Let's break this down even more. Neville often said that imagination is the very gateway of reality. Think of your imagination as the command center of the simulation. Every time you close your eyes and visualize something, whether it's a quiet moment of peace, a burst of creative inspiration, or even a challenging situation resolved in your favor, you're not just daydreaming. You're engaging in an act of creation. In that moment, your inner world is aligning with the outer world, setting the stage for a shift in how things unfold. Now, you might be wondering, how can I be sure that this works? Isn't it just a feel-good idea? It's true that these concepts might sound a bit out there at first. But think about all the times you've experienced a moment of serendipity, a sudden insight, an unexpected opportunity, or a chance encounter that changed your perspective. These moments are like little glitches in the simulation. They hint at a reality that is more fluid, more responsive than you might have assumed. Neville's teachings encourage you to pay attention to these moments and to trust that they are signs of the underlying truth, that you have the power to shape your own experience. Another powerful idea from Neville is the concept of faith. Now, I'm not talking about faith in the religious sense here, but a deep-seated trust in your own creative power. It's the belief that, even when things seem chaotic or uncertain, there's a greater order at work. This kind of faith is what allows you to take risks, to dream big, and to persist in the face of setbacks. It's like knowing that even if the simulation glitches or the system throws up an error message, you have the power to reboot, to recalibrate, and to come back even stronger. This trust in your own ability to create is essential because without it, you'll always be waiting for external validation or signs that your efforts are paying off. Neville also talked a lot about the importance of feeling. He believed that emotions are the fuel that drives the creative process. It's not enough to simply think about what you want, you need to feel it with every fiber of your being. That's why he emphasized the importance of feeling the wish fulfilled. When you generate a strong, positive emotion around your desire, you're essentially sending out a signal to the universe, or the simulation if you prefer that language, that this is your reality. And once that signal is strong enough, the system responds. It might happen in unexpected ways. A new job opportunity appears, an old relationship is rekindled, or you simply start noticing more beauty and joy in your everyday life. The key is to immerse yourself fully in the emotion of your desired state, even if it feels a bit like pretending at first. Over time, that feeling becomes real. There's a playful, almost rebellious energy in Neville's teachings too. He challenges you to question everything you've been taught about what's possible. Society often tells us that our reality is fixed, that there are limits to what we can achieve. But Neville flips that idea on its head. He invites you to see those limits as mere illusions, products of a system that can be hacked, reprogrammed, and ultimately transcended. This is where the concept of the simulation really comes into play. When you view your life as a simulation, you start to understand that the boundaries you once took for granted are not absolute. They're just lines of code that can be rewritten with a shift in perspective. Imagine for a moment that you're at a crossroads, feeling stuck in a repetitive loop of negative thoughts and behaviors. According to Neville, this isn't because the universe is against you. It's because you've been running on autopilot, using the same old software that no longer serves you. Now picture yourself sitting down and opening up that software, looking at the lines of code that represent your beliefs and habits. You see that some parts of the code are outdated, filled with errors and limitations that you inherited from past experiences. Neville's approach is to update that code, to install a new version that's optimized for growth, creativity, and fulfillment. It's a process of constant revision and improvement, one that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to trust in your own power. One of the most transformative aspects of Neville's teachings is the idea that you are the creative force behind your own reality. This means that every thought, every emotion, every moment of imagination is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. You're not simply reacting to the world, you're actively creating it. This realization is both exhilarating and a little intimidating because it places the responsibility for your life squarely in your hands. But with that responsibility comes incredible freedom. When you understand that you are the one holding the pen, you can start to rewrite the story of your life in any way you choose. Let's talk about some real-life examples. Consider someone who has long felt trapped in a job they hate, believing that they're stuck because of circumstances beyond their control. According to Neville's teachings, the first step to changing that situation is to change the way they feel about it. Instead of focusing on the negatives, they begin to visualize themselves in a job that excites them, feeling the satisfaction and joy of doing work they love. They start to believe that this isn't just a fantasy, but a reality waiting to happen. Over time, as they consistently hold that feeling and act in ways that align with it, opportunities begin to present themselves. Perhaps a conversation leads to a new job offer, or an unexpected chance encounter opens a door they never knew existed. That's the power of living in the end, of allowing your inner state to dictate your outer reality. Another example might be someone dealing with a painful breakup. Instead of wallowing in sorrow and replaying the hurt over and over in their mind, they use the technique of revision. They mentally revisit the breakup and reimagine it as a stepping stone to a better, more fulfilling relationship. They see the experience as a lesson, a necessary change that was needed to clear the way for something better. As they practice this mental revision, they start to feel a shift. The bitterness begins to melt away, replaced by a sense of acceptance and even gratitude for what the experience taught them. And soon enough, they notice that their relationships begin to change. They attract people who resonate with this new, more positive energy. Neville's teachings are not just about changing individual events, they're about transforming the entire way you experience life. When you start to live from a place of conscious creation, every aspect of your life is touched by that shift. The mundane becomes magical, the challenges become opportunities, and every moment is infused with the potential for transformation. This is where the simulation analogy really shines. Just as a skilled programmer can update and improve a piece of software, you can go into your own program and tweak it to create a better, more fulfilling experience. You become the coder of your own reality, rewriting outdated instructions and installing new ones that support your highest vision. It's important to remember that Neville's methods require practice. They're not about snapping your fingers and having everything magically change overnight. They're about developing a consistent habit of mind, a way of being, that continually reinforces the truth that you are the master of your own creation. Over time, these practices start to build on themselves. The more you revise, the more you live in the end, the more you trust in your own power, the more you'll begin to see shifts that confirm the truth of Neville's words. And these shifts, while they might start small, can eventually transform your entire life. One of the most fascinating things about Neville's work is how it bridges the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science. In many ways, his teachings are a precursor to what we now call the law of attraction, or even aspects of quantum theory, which suggests that observation and intention can affect outcomes at a fundamental level. While these scientific ideas are still debated, they lend a kind of modern credibility to Neville's insights. They suggest that there might indeed be a mechanism, a kind of code, behind the way our thoughts and feelings shape our reality. Whether you view it as a metaphysical process or a psychological one, the effect is the same. Your inner world matters, and it creates your outer world. At the end of the day, Neville Goddard's teachings are a call to reclaim your power. They're an invitation to step out of the role of a passive observer and become an active creator in the grand simulation of life. They remind you that, no matter how solid and unchangeable the world around you may seem, it's all made up of ideas, emotions, and beliefs, elements that you have the power to change. And once you truly internalize this, once you see that every experience is a reflection of your inner state, you start to live in a way that's truly free. You no longer feel trapped by circumstances because you know that you have the power to change them from the inside out. In wrapping all of this together, think of Neville's message as an invitation to awaken. It's an invitation to look at your life with fresh eyes, to question the status quo, and to trust that you can do better, be better, and live a more authentic life. Whether you're skeptical or ready to dive in, these teachings offer something valuable, a reminder that the world is not fixed, that you're not bound by a predetermined script, and that every moment holds the potential for a new beginning. So as you listen to these words, let them serve as a gentle nudge, a reminder that the shift is always possible. The simulation of your everyday life isn't a prison, it's a canvas waiting for your unique touch. And with Neville Goddard's techniques, you have the tools to paint a reality that reflects your true desires, your highest vision, and your deepest truth. Embrace the power of your imagination, trust in the process of revision, and start living in the end. Because once you understand that you are the creator of your reality, once you see that every thought and feeling is a line of code waiting to be rewritten, the shift happens. And that shift opens the door to a life that's richer, more fulfilling, and entirely your own. Take this as your starting point. Dive into Neville's teachings, experiment with revision, live in the end, and notice the small miracles that begin to occur. Every time you choose to rewrite an old story, every time you trust in your creative power, you're sending a signal that you're ready for something new. And before you know it, the world around you starts to change. It might not happen all at once, but bit by bit, you'll notice that the simulation is no longer dictating your life, because you are. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Allow yourself to explore, to experiment, and to occasionally stumble along the way. Each moment is a learning experience, a chance to refine your inner script and to align more closely with the reality you want to create. Neville's message is timeless because it speaks to something fundamental about the human experience, the power of belief, the magic of imagination, and the limitless potential that lies within each of us. As you move forward with these ideas, keep in mind that you are not alone. Many have walked this path before you, and many will walk it after. The tools and insights shared by Neville Goddard have transformed countless lives, and they can transform yours too. So step into that power, embrace the shift, and watch as the simulation of your everyday life unfolds in ways you never imagined possible. Imagine this. You're living your day-to-day life, going through the motions as you always have, waking up to the same alarm, following the same routine, and letting your thoughts chatter on without much notice. Then one day, something small but unmistakable happens. Perhaps it's a moment of déjà vu that makes you pause in the middle of a busy street, or an unexpected synchronicity that feels like a wink from the universe. That's the first hint, the gentle nudge that there's something more going on beneath the surface of your everyday life. At first, you might brush it off as a fluke, a random coincidence. But as these moments begin to accumulate, you start to wonder if there's a pattern. Maybe it's as if the world is trying to tell you, hey, there's more here than meets the eye. And then it hits you. Maybe you're living in a simulation, a reality constructed by your own beliefs, thoughts, and experiences. This realization isn't about rejecting the life you've always known. It's about questioning the assumptions that have guided you for so long. It's about stepping back and saying, what if I could change the code? This journey toward the shift starts with awareness. It's about tuning into those small glitches in the matrix of your life, those little moments when something feels off, when the familiar routine suddenly seems loaded with hidden meaning. You might notice it when you see a stranger who looks oddly familiar, or when you catch a fleeting reflection in a window that seems to hint at a different version of yourself. These aren't just random events. They're signposts on the road to a deeper understanding of your own reality. In the beginning, the process can feel confusing. It's like waking up from a long, deep sleep and realizing that the world isn't as solid or permanent as you once thought. Suddenly, the boundaries between what's real and what's imagined start to blur. You begin to see that many of the limitations you've accepted are simply habits of thought, old programming that you've been running on autopilot for years. And that's where the first step of the journey comes in, acknowledging that you have the power to change this inner programming. Think of your mind like a computer. For most of your life, you've been running on a default operating system, a set of programs that were installed early on, filled with self-doubt, fear, and the familiar chatter that tells you you're not enough, or that life is something to be endured rather than enjoyed. The journey toward the shift begins when you start to question this default code. You begin to notice that the software running in your mind isn't unchangeable. It's something that you can update, patch, and even completely rewrite. The next step is moving from awareness to action. Once you start to recognize that those small glitches, those moments of déjà vu, those hints of something different, are telling you that the system is malleable, you begin to experiment. At first, it might be as simple as pausing for a few extra seconds in the middle of your day, taking a deep breath, and letting your mind settle. You might try to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them, as if you're watching a movie from the outside. This practice, however brief, is like opening a window in a stuffy room. It allows fresh air to circulate, and suddenly, you feel a little more space inside your head. As you continue this practice, you start to notice that there are moments when you can actually step outside of the constant inner dialogue. Picture yourself in a busy park, surrounded by the noise of traffic, chatter, and the hum of daily life. Even in that chaos, you find a quiet corner within yourself, a space where you can simply be. It's in these moments that you begin to experience the shift, even if only fleetingly. It's as if you've discovered a secret passage in the maze of your thoughts, one that leads to a place of calm, clarity, and creativity. But the journey isn't always easy. For every moment of quiet insight, there are countless times when the old programming kicks in, when that familiar voice of self-doubt and fear returns with a vengeance. You might find yourself slipping back into old habits, worrying about the future, replaying past mistakes, or getting lost in the noise of everyday life. And that's perfectly normal. The old system is deeply entrenched, and unlearning years of conditioned thought takes time and persistence. During these challenging moments, it's important to remember that the journey toward the shift is not a straight line. It's more like a winding road full of twists, turns, and occasional setbacks. The key is not to get discouraged. Instead, treat each moment of resistance as an opportunity, a chance to practice your new way of being. When you catch yourself in an old pattern, gently remind yourself that these thoughts are just part of the background noise of the simulation. They don't define you, and you don't have to let them dictate your experience. Over time, every little act of noticing and choosing a different response builds up your inner resilience. One way to strengthen your journey is by cultivating curiosity. Rather than fighting the negative chatter head-on, try to get curious about it. Ask yourself, what is this thought really trying to tell me? Or, why do I feel this way right now? By taking a step back and examining your thoughts with curiosity rather than judgment, you begin to see that they are not absolute truths. They're just transient ideas that come and go. This shift in perspective is like turning the volume down on a noisy radio so you can hear the soft, underlying music of your true self. As you continue to explore these inner landscapes, you may find that the process starts to feel less like a battle and more like an adventure. Each day becomes an opportunity to discover something new about yourself and the world around you. You might start to notice that even the challenges you face hold hidden lessons, clues that point to a deeper truth about your existence. For example, a disagreement with a friend might, on the surface, feel like a painful setback. But if you pause and observe the situation without getting caught up in the emotional storm, you might see that it's actually an invitation to grow, an opportunity to learn more about your own values, boundaries, and capacity for compassion. This journey is also about reclaiming your power as a creator of your own reality. Once you begin to see your thoughts as the building blocks of your experience, you realize that you have more influence over your life than you ever imagined. It's like discovering that you're not just a character in a story, you're the author of that story. This realization is both empowering and humbling. It means that every choice you make, every moment of awareness, contributes to the grand tapestry of your life. And while that might sound overwhelming at times, it's also incredibly liberating. You no longer have to feel trapped by a fixed destiny. Instead, you hold the pen that writes your future. In practical terms, this shift often starts with small, everyday actions. It could be as simple as setting aside a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and check in with yourself. It might involve journaling about your experiences, writing down those moments when you sensed a glitch in the simulation, and reflecting on what they might mean. Over time, these practices help to reinforce the idea that you are more than the sum of your thoughts, and that your inner world is a vast, untapped resource waiting to be explored. As you build these habits, you'll likely notice that your perception of the world begins to change. The same streets you walked every day might start to reveal hidden details you'd never noticed before, a glimmer of sunlight reflecting off a window, the gentle rustling of leaves in a quiet park, or the way a stranger's smile seems to carry a message of hope. These are the subtle signs that your inner shift is influencing how you experience life. It's as if a filter has been lifted, allowing you to see things with fresh eyes and an open heart. Another important aspect of this journey is learning to trust the process. There will be days when the shift feels almost imperceptible, when you're not sure if you're making any progress at all. In those moments, it's essential to remember that transformation is a gradual process. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow into a towering tree, The shift in your consciousness unfolds slowly, often in ways that you might not immediately recognize. Trust that every moment of awareness, every act of choosing a different perspective, is like a tiny seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind. With time, these seeds will grow into something beautiful and transformative. It's also worth noting that the journey toward the shift is deeply personal. What works for one person might not work for another. Some people might find that meditation opens the door to deeper awareness, while others might discover that creative expression, like writing, drawing, or playing music, helps them tap into their inner truth. The key is to explore and experiment until you find the practices that resonate with you. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's about discovering your own unique path to clarity and freedom. Throughout this journey, you might also encounter moments of profound insight that feel almost like epiphanies, sudden flashes of understanding that reframe everything you thought you knew. These moments can be incredibly powerful, providing a glimpse into a reality where the old limitations no longer apply. Perhaps you'll have a moment where you feel completely detached from your usual worries, where time seems to slow down and you realize that you're not the endless stream of thoughts that usually define your existence. Instead, you become aware of a deeper, quieter presence within, a steady, unchanging witness to the ever-changing flow of life. These moments are like brief, radiant flashes of clarity that remind you of who you really are. Yet, for every burst of insight, there will be times when you feel lost or overwhelmed. The process of unraveling years of conditioned thinking can bring up old fears, doubts, and insecurities. You might feel as though you're caught in a tug-of-war between the old ways of being and the new possibilities that are emerging. It's in these moments that the true challenge and the true opportunity lies. The resistance you feel is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a natural part of the transformation process. It means that you're breaking through old barriers and stepping into a space that you might have once thought was impossible. When these challenges arise, it can be incredibly helpful to have a supportive community or a trusted friend with whom you can share your experiences. Sometimes, hearing someone else's story or simply knowing that you're not alone in your struggles can make a world of difference. Whether it's through online forums, local groups, or personal relationships, connecting with others who are also on this journey can provide both comfort and inspiration. You might find that their insights, struggles, and triumphs mirror your own, and that together you're all contributing to a collective shift, a ripple effect that has the power to transform not just your life, but the world around you. Another way to navigate the ups and downs of this journey is to cultivate a sense of playfulness. Instead of taking every setback as a sign that you're failing, try to see them as opportunities to experiment, learn, and grow. Sometimes a change in perspective is as simple as asking yourself, "What can I learn from this moment?" Or, "How can this challenge help me become stronger?" When you approach life with a sense of curiosity and humor, even the most difficult moments can become stepping stones on your path to greater freedom. As you continue to move forward, you'll likely notice that the boundaries between your inner world and your outer world begin to blur. The same thoughts and feelings that once seemed confined to the realm of your mind start to manifest in your daily life. You might notice that relationships become more meaningful, that creative projects flow more easily, or that you simply feel more alive and engaged with the world around you. This isn't a coincidence. It's a sign that the shift is taking root, that the transformation you've been nurturing from within is starting to shape your reality in profound and unexpected ways. Ultimately, the journey toward the shift is about reclaiming your own story. It's about realizing that you are not a victim of circumstance, a puppet on a string, or a mere passenger in the simulation of life. You are the author, the director, and the artist of your own experience. Every thought you choose, every moment of awareness you embrace, is an act of creation, a declaration that you have the power to shape your reality. And while the journey might be long, winding, and occasionally challenging, every step you take brings you closer to the freedom and joy that have always been waiting for you beneath the surface. In the end, the journey toward the shift is not just about changing how you think. It's about changing how you live. It's about opening yourself up to a reality where every moment is filled with possibility, where every day is an opportunity to rewrite the code of your life. And while the road may sometimes seem uncertain, remember that each small, intentional act of awareness is a beacon of light, a guiding star that leads you ever closer to the truth of who you really are. So, as you stand at the threshold of this incredible journey, take a deep breath and step forward with curiosity, compassion, and an open heart. Trust that each moment, whether filled with clarity or shadowed by old patterns, is part of a grand, unfolding adventure, a journey that is uniquely yours. Embrace the glitches, the moments of resistance, and the bursts of insight as essential chapters in the story of your transformation. And know that every time you choose to live consciously, you are rewriting the simulation, one thought, one breath, one moment at a time. This is your invitation to step into the unknown, to explore the vast, uncharted territory of your inner world, and to discover the boundless possibilities that lie beyond the familiar. The journey toward the shift is waiting for you, and with each step you take, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the very fabric of reality itself. Welcome to the adventure of a lifetime. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you can actively move from just knowing there's more to your reality to actually creating that new experience every day. These tools are not magic formulas or secret shortcuts. They're practical techniques that help you step outside the old, automatic patterns of thought and begin to write a new code for your life. Each tool, whether it's mindfulness, visualization, affirmations, revision, or other practices, serves as a stepping stone to help you navigate the simulation and start living in a state of conscious creation. Imagine your mind as a computer that's been running on outdated software for years. The programs installed in you, those persistent worries, fears, and limiting beliefs, are like bugs in the system that slow you down and keep you locked in a routine you never chose. The tools we're talking about are like software updates, patches, and even entirely new programs that you can install to help you run your life more smoothly and creatively. And the best part? You get to be the programmer. One of the most accessible tools for shifting your inner landscape is mindfulness. At its core, mindfulness is about paying attention, really paying attention, to what's happening in the present moment without judgment. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful because it helps you break free from the autopilot mode that most of us live in. Think about those moments when you're so caught up in your thoughts, worrying about the future or replaying past mistakes, that you miss what's right in front of you. Mindfulness is like hitting the pause button on that constant mental chatter. By taking even a few minutes each day to sit quietly, focus on your breath, and observe your thoughts as they come and go, you create a little space in your mind. In that space, you can begin to notice that these thoughts aren't who you are. They're just passing clouds. This simple practice is the first step in learning to see your inner dialogue from a new perspective. Start small. Find a quiet corner where you won't be disturbed, sit comfortably, and take a few deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. When thoughts pop up, and they will, don't try to fight them. Instead, gently notice them and let them pass. Over time, you'll find that this practice not only calms your mind, but also makes you more aware of the automatic patterns that have been running your life. And once you're aware of them, you have the power to change them. If mindfulness is about clearing space in your mind, then visualization is about filling that space with a new blueprint for your life. Visualization is a tool that taps into the creative power of your imagination. Neville Goddard famously said that imagination is the very gateway of reality. When you visualize, you're not just daydreaming, you're actively engaging in the process of creation. Imagine you're an artist, and your life is a blank canvas. Every time you close your eyes and vividly picture a scene, whether it's achieving a long-desired goal, experiencing a joyful relationship, or simply feeling at peace, you're painting a picture of a new reality. The key is to make these images as real and detailed as possible. See the colors, feel the textures, hear the sounds, and most importantly, immerse yourself in the emotions of that reality. The goal is to trick your subconscious mind into believing that the scene you're imagining is not a fantasy, but a present truth. It might help to start with a simple exercise. Find a comfortable spot, close your eyes, and choose something positive you'd like to experience. It could be as simple as feeling confident in a meeting, enjoying a moment of peace in nature, or even reconnecting with an old friend. Picture the scene in detail. Where are you? What do you see, hear, and feel? Focus on the emotions that come with this experience. Joy, love, peace. Hold on to that feeling, let it grow, and allow yourself to believe that this vision is already your reality. With consistency, you'll begin to notice subtle changes in how you experience your everyday life. Alongside mindfulness and visualization, affirmations are another powerful tool for shifting the way you think. Affirmations are simple, positive statements that help rewire your brain. Over time, they replace old negative beliefs with new, empowering ones. The idea is that by repeating these statements, you're sending a clear signal to your subconscious mind that you are shifting your perspective. Consider the phrases you often repeat to yourself. Many of us have an inner voice that's critical and full of doubt. Statements like, "I'm not good enough," or "This is just how things are." Affirmations flip that script. They could be as simple as, "I am capable and creative," "I am worthy of success and happiness," or "Every day I am rewriting my reality." The power of affirmations lies in their repetition. When you make them a part of your daily routine, whether you say them aloud in the morning, write them in a journal, or even think them quietly to yourself, you begin to overwrite the old programming that no longer serves you. It might feel a bit awkward at first, especially if you're not used to speaking kindly to yourself. But trust that with time, these affirmations will become a natural part of your thought process. You'll start noticing that you respond to challenges differently, that you have more confidence, and that your overall sense of well-being improves. Affirmations are like little seeds planted in your mind, and with enough nurturing, they'll grow into a robust garden of positive, life-affirming beliefs. One of Neville Goddard's most intriguing techniques is called revision. Revision is a method of looking back at past events, especially those that didn't go the way you wanted, and mentally reimagining them. The goal isn't to erase what happened, but to change the emotional charge and the meaning you attach to those memories. Think of it as editing the script of your past to create a more empowering narrative. Imagine you're replaying a scene from your life that you wish had gone differently, a moment of embarrassment, regret, or pain. With revision, you step into that memory and change the outcome. Instead of letting it be a source of shame or sorrow, you rewrite it in your mind so that it ends on a positive note. Perhaps you see yourself acting with confidence, receiving kindness, or simply handling the situation with grace. Over time, this exercise helps diminish the hold that painful memories have over you. They start to lose their power, and you reclaim your narrative. It might sound like a lot to ask, changing the way you remember the past, but even small shifts can make a huge difference. Each time you practice revision, you're sending a signal to your brain that the past does not have to define you. You're not locked into those old stories. You have the power to reinterpret them, and in doing so, shape a more positive and empowered version of your future. While each of these tools, mindfulness, visualization, affirmations, and revision, can be incredibly effective on their own, they become even more powerful when used together. Imagine starting your day with a few minutes of mindfulness to clear your head, followed by a visualization session where you vividly imagine the life you desire. Then, Reinforce that vision with strong, positive affirmations. And later, if negative memories or thoughts creep in, use revision to transform them. Over time, this integrated practice creates a powerful feedback loop. As you clear out old, limiting patterns and replace them with new, empowering ones, you begin to see tangible changes in your life. For example, you might notice that your relationships improve, that you handle stress more gracefully, or that you're more open to new opportunities. These changes aren't just coincidences. They're the natural result of a mind that is in the process of being reprogrammed. The more you practice, the more you train your brain to operate from a place of conscious creation rather than passive reaction. Another key tool in this process is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, experiences, and even your small victories can help solidify the shift you're trying to achieve. Journaling gives you a space to reflect on your progress and notice patterns that you might otherwise miss. It's a way of documenting your journey so that on days when things feel challenging, you can look back and see how far you've come. Start by writing about your daily experiences. What moments stood out to you? When did you notice a glitch in the simulation, a moment of clarity or a shift in perspective? Write down your visualizations and the affirmations you use that day. Over time, your journal becomes a testament to your growth, a record of the transformation taking place in your inner world. And sometimes, reading back over your entries can spark new insights, reminding you that every moment of awareness is a step toward a larger, more meaningful change. It's also important to remember that these tools don't always have to be practiced in a quiet, meditative state. Movement and creative expression can be incredibly powerful ways to achieve the shift as well. Activities like yoga, dance, or even a simple walk in nature can help you reconnect with your body and quiet the mental chatter. When you move, you give your mind a break from constant analysis and allow it to experience the present moment in a more direct, sensory way. Similarly, creative activities, whether it's painting, writing poetry, playing music, or even cooking a new recipe, can serve as a form of meditation. They allow you to enter a state of flow, where you're fully immersed in the process of creation. In these moments, you're not caught up in the what-ifs or the regrets. You're simply engaged with the act of making something new. This creative process is another way of rewriting the code of your life, as it taps into the same power of imagination that Neville Goddard championed. One of the challenges in using these tools is consistency. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it requires regular practice. It's like learning to play an instrument. At first, it feels awkward, but with time, the practice becomes a natural part of your day. The trick is to create a routine that feels sustainable. You might start with just 5 or 10 minutes of mindfulness and visualization each morning, and gradually build up as you feel more comfortable. The key is not to overwhelm yourself with too many changes at once. Instead, pick 1 or 2 practices that resonate most with you and commit to them for a while. As you begin to notice the benefits, perhaps a calmer mind, a more positive outlook, or even small shifts in your circumstances, add in another tool. This gradual integration makes the process feel more organic and less like a chore. Over time, these practices will become second nature, seamlessly woven into the fabric of your daily life. It's important to remember that these tools are not one size fits all. Everyone's journey toward the shift is unique, and what works for one person might not work for another. The beauty of these practices is that they can be adapted to fit your lifestyle, your beliefs, and your personal rhythm. If sitting still isn't your thing, try a moving meditation like walking or yoga. If you're more of a visual learner, spend extra time on visualization exercises, or even create a vision board that captures the essence of what you want to manifest. Experiment with different techniques and pay attention to how they make you feel. Notice which practices bring you the most peace, clarity, or inspiration. And don't be afraid to tweak them. The goal is to build a toolkit that feels like it's uniquely yours. A set of practices that empower you to rewrite the simulation in a way that reflects your deepest desires and highest vision. No journey is without its obstacles, and the process of reprogramming your mind is no exception. There will be days when old patterns resurface, when the negative chatter feels overwhelming, or when it seems like nothing is changing despite your best efforts. In these moments, it's crucial to be gentle with yourself. Remember that every step, no matter how small, is progress. The process of shifting your inner world is a lifelong journey, and setbacks are simply opportunities to learn and grow. Celebrate your wins, no matter how minor they may seem. Maybe you had a moment today when you paused before reacting to a stressful situation, or perhaps you caught yourself in a negative thought and gently redirected your focus. These small victories are the building blocks of lasting change. Recognize and honor them. They're evidence that you're rewriting the code of your life, one conscious choice at a time. While the work of reprogramming your inner world is deeply personal, it can be incredibly helpful to connect with others who are on a similar journey. Whether it's joining an online forum, attending local meetups, or finding a mentor who resonates with your values, community can offer both support and inspiration. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can help you see that you're not alone in this process. Many people have walked this path before you, and their stories can provide valuable insights into the challenges and rewards of living consciously. Look for groups or communities that focus on mindfulness, creative visualization, or Neville Goddard's teachings. Engaging with like-minded individuals can help keep you motivated, offer new ideas for overcoming obstacles, and remind you that every person's journey is unique. Sometimes, just knowing that others are also rewriting their inner code can be the spark you need to keep pushing forward. In our digital age, technology can also be an ally in your quest to achieve the shift. There are countless apps and online resources designed to support mindfulness, meditation, and visualization practices. Whether it's guided meditation apps, digital journals, or vision board tools, technology can help you stay consistent and engaged with your practices. These tools can serve as reminders to pause, breathe, and reconnect with your inner world throughout the day. For instance, setting reminders on your phone to take a mindful break, using apps that guide you through meditation sessions, or even joining online communities that share daily affirmations can make it easier to integrate these practices into your busy schedule. Technology, in this sense, is like an extension of your inner toolkit, a way to reinforce your commitment to living consciously in the midst of modern life. As you commit to these daily practices, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts that add up over time. What might start as a few quiet moments of mindfulness or a brief visualization exercise can eventually lead to profound changes in your overall sense of well-being. Your inner dialogue becomes kinder, your perspective more expansive, and your ability to navigate life's challenges significantly enhanced. Over the long term, these practices will reshape not only how you experience the world, but also how you interact with it. You'll find that you're less reactive, more resilient, and better able to adapt to changes. Relationships might improve because you're no longer carrying the baggage of old, limiting beliefs. Your creativity may blossom as you tap into a deeper well of inspiration, and even everyday tasks can take on a new, more meaningful quality. All of this is the result of a mind that is gradually being reprogrammed, a mind that is learning to write a new code for a reality filled with endless possibility. Ultimately, the tools for achieving the shift are not about forcing a change overnight. They're about embracing a journey of continuous growth and self-discovery. Each practice is a way of gently peeling back the layers of old programming to reveal the vast, uncharted potential that lies beneath. The process requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to experiment with different methods until you find what truly resonates with you. As you move forward, remember that these tools are there to support you, not to add pressure. They're invitations to slow down, reflect, and reconnect with your inner self. Whether it's through quiet meditation, creative visualization, heartfelt affirmations, or thoughtful revision, every act of conscious awareness is a step toward a more empowered, joyful existence. In time, these practices will become as natural as breathing, integral parts of the way you live, love, and create. So take these tools to heart and allow them to guide you on your journey toward the shift. Experiment with them, adapt them, and most importantly, trust in the process. You have the power to rewrite the code of your reality, and every moment you choose to live consciously is a victory, a small revolution that, over time, will transform your entire world. Embrace the tools, celebrate your progress, and know that with each new day, you're stepping further into the life you've always dreamed of. Of course, shifting the simulation isn't all smooth sailing. There will be moments when the old programming fights back. That familiar inner voice, with its endless list of doubts and fears, will try to convince you that you can't live without its constant commentary. It's as if the simulation itself is resistant to change. It's comfortable in its routines and doesn't want you to break free. But here's the secret. Resistance is just another part of the process. It's like trying to break an old habit. The more you notice it, the more you realize that it doesn't have to control you. When you encounter resistance, don't fight it head on. Instead, acknowledge it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is this resistance trying to protect? Often you'll find that it's simply a remnant of old beliefs and conditioned responses that no longer serve your higher purpose. Think of it like this. If you've ever tried to adjust the settings on your phone, you know that sometimes the system resists change. The phone might lag, freeze, or display error messages, but that doesn't mean you should give up. You just have to navigate around those glitches, knowing that with time and persistence, you can update the system. Your mind works in a similar way. Every time you choose not to engage with the negative chatter, you're slowly reprogramming your inner software. It can be incredibly frustrating when the simulation seems to double down on its efforts to keep you in line. You might face moments when old patterns of thinking, like self-doubt, fear of failure, or the nagging voice of insecurity, bubble up stronger than ever. But these moments are not setbacks. They're opportunities. They're chances to practice your new tools, to remind yourself that you are not your thoughts, and that you have the power to step outside the simulation's constraints. Remember, transformation isn't a linear process. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes downright challenging. But each time you notice the old patterns emerging and choose to observe rather than react, you're making a choice to live a life that's more in tune with your true self. And that, in itself, is a revolutionary act. Imagine waking up one day and feeling as though you've stepped out of a dense fog. Everything that once seemed overwhelming or chaotic now appears with startling clarity. That's what life can be like after you've made the shift. When you begin to understand that the simulation is a construct of your own mind, you start to see that the limitations you once believed in are simply mental constructs, ones that you have the power to change. In this new reality, you start to experience life in a more direct, unfiltered way. You notice the beauty in everyday moments, the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a friend, the simple pleasure of being fully present. Without the constant interference of a negative inner dialogue, you're free to engage with the world as it truly is. Every moment becomes an invitation to create, to explore, and to connect with the deeper truth that lies beneath the surface of everyday life. This transformation isn't about denying life's challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about shifting your perspective so that you see obstacles as opportunities and setbacks as stepping stones to something greater. The simulation may still have its glitches, but now you have the power to choose which parts of the code you want to run and which parts you can let go of. Many people describe this shift as a profound sense of freedom. It's like shedding an old skin and discovering a new, more expansive way of being. You start to see that the world is not something that happens to you, but something you actively participate in. And with this realization comes a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that you can shape your destiny, no matter how complex or unpredictable life may seem. You might even begin to notice that your relationships, your work, and your creative projects take on a new energy. Without the heavy burden of an overactive, critical inner voice, you can engage with others from a place of openness and authenticity. It's like tuning in to a new frequency, a frequency where the old stories and limiting beliefs no longer hold sway, and where every moment is ripe with possibility. Now that you've experienced the initial spark of transformation, the question becomes, how do you keep this shift alive in your everyday life? The answer lies in developing practical routines and daily practices that reinforce your new way of being. Just as a musician practices scales every day to keep their skills sharp, you need to nurture your awareness and your ability to navigate the simulation with intention. Start with simple mindfulness practices. Carve out a few minutes each day to simply sit with your thoughts without judgment. This isn't about forcing your mind to be silent. It's about noticing the chatter for what it is, a series of passing thoughts that don't define you. Over time, this practice will help you build the muscle of awareness, making it easier to catch yourself when the old programming starts to creep in. Visualization is another powerful daily tool. Set aside a few moments each day to imagine your ideal reality. Picture it in as much detail as possible, the colors, the sounds, the feelings. When you visualize, you're essentially reprogramming your inner code, telling your subconscious mind that this is the reality you want to live. And as Neville Goddard taught, when you feel your wish fulfilled, you're setting the stage for it to manifest in your life. Affirmations and gratitude can also play a huge role in maintaining the shift. Start your day by affirming positive beliefs about yourself and your reality. Statements like, "I am the creator of my world," or "I am free from limitations" might seem simple, but they have a way of slowly eroding the old, limiting narratives. And as you go about your day, take moments to express gratitude for even the smallest blessings, the warmth of the sun, a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace in the midst of chaos. These acts of gratitude help reinforce a positive, abundant mindset that supports your ongoing transformation. Living the shift isn't about achieving a perfect state of mind. It's about building a new relationship with your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately, with life itself. It's a continuous journey of noticing, adjusting, and growing. And every day offers a fresh chance to rewrite the code of the simulation, one thought at a time. One of the most profound aspects of this journey is the challenge to long-held beliefs. When you start to see the world as a simulation, you're forced to question everything you thought you knew about reality. The rules that once seemed unchangeable, the ideas of fate, limitation, and separation, begin to crumble. In their place emerges a new understanding, one that invites you to trust in the creative power of your own imagination. This isn't about giving up control or resigning yourself to a predetermined fate. It's about surrendering to a higher truth. It's about understanding that the very limitations you once clung to were nothing more than illusions. When you let go of the need to control every detail of your life, you open up to the possibility of something much greater. Trusting the process, even when it doesn't make logical sense, is a leap of faith. But it's a leap that can transform your entire existence. Neville Goddard's teachings emphasize this idea of surrender. He often spoke about the power of belief, not just in the sense of hoping for the best, but in truly knowing that you are the creator of your world. When you let go of fear, doubt, and the need to micromanage every outcome, you tap into a deeper, more intuitive way of living. It's like turning down the volume on the noisy background of everyday life and listening to the soft, steady voice of your true self. Surrendering to the unknown can be a scary prospect, especially when the familiar ways of thinking have kept you safe for so long. But it's precisely when you let go of the illusion of control that you discover how limitless your potential truly is. The old stories that once defined your reality begin to lose their grip, and you find yourself stepping into a realm where everything is possible. This isn't about abandoning responsibility or living recklessly. It's about embracing life with an open heart, knowing that you are supported by a universe that is far more mysterious and generous than you ever imagined. There comes a moment, a sudden electrifying epiphany, when everything clicks. You're sitting there, maybe in the middle of an ordinary day, and you suddenly realize that the simulation isn't the ultimate reality. You begin to see through the layers of illusion, and what you find is something far more expansive. A truth that connects you to everything and everyone around you. This moment of awakening is unlike anything else. It's not a gradual shift, but a profound, almost seismic realization that shakes the very foundation of your existence. In that instant, you see that the limitations, the fears, and the doubts that once held you back are nothing more than shadows on a screen. The real you, timeless, expansive, and infinitely creative, has been waiting all along, hidden behind the veil of the simulation. This realization isn't just an intellectual understanding. It's a deep, soul-stirring experience. You begin to feel a sense of unity with the world around you, a knowing that all of life is interconnected. The boundaries between self and other dissolve, and you find yourself part of a vast, ever-unfolding tapestry of existence. It's a moment of clarity that redefines everything you thought you knew about who you are and what is possible. At this point, the simulation loses its grip. The rules that once seemed rigid and unchangeable start to bend and shift. You begin to realize that the only limitations are those you impose on yourself. And with that realization comes freedom. A freedom to create, to dream, and to live a life that is truly your own. The voice of the simulation fades into the background, replaced by a quiet, steady presence that reminds you that you are more than the sum of your thoughts. So here we are, at the end of this journey. A journey that began with the simple yet revolutionary idea that we are living in a simulation. Along the way, we've explored how recognizing this truth can lead to a profound shift in the way you experience life. From the unsettling realization that everything you know is just a construct, to the empowering discovery that you have the power to rewrite the code of your reality, every step of this journey is a testament to the incredible potential that lies within you. Living the shift means more than just a momentary breakthrough. It's about embracing a new way of being, day in and day out. It's about waking up each morning with a sense of wonder, knowing that every moment offers a chance to create a reality that is rich, joyful, and entirely your own. It means choosing to see beyond the glitches and the noise, to tune into the quiet, steady rhythm of your true self. The path isn't always easy. There will be moments when the old programming tries to reassert itself, when the familiar voices of doubt and fear threaten to pull you back into the simulation. But remember this: every time you choose to notice, to observe, and to gently rewrite the code of your thoughts, you're taking a step toward a life of greater freedom and clarity. It's a process, a beautiful, unfolding process of continuous growth and self-discovery. So, if you've ever felt that something was off, that there was a glitch in the matrix of your everyday life, take it as a sign. That feeling is your inner self nudging you, inviting you to explore the possibility that there is more to reality than meets the eye. Embrace that invitation. Start with small practices, mindfulness, visualization, affirmations, and gradually you'll notice the shift happening within you. The world will begin to look different, not because the simulation has changed, but because you have. As you move forward on this journey, remember that you are not alone. Countless others have taken this path, inspired by thinkers like Neville Goddard and modern simulation theorists alike. They remind us that the power to change your world lies within you, in the space where thought and feeling meet. In that space, you can rewrite the rules, break free from old limitations, and create a life that is truly extraordinary. The shift isn't an endpoint, it's a beginning. Once you know you are in a simulation, you hold the key to unlock a reality filled with infinite possibilities. So, go ahead and take that first step. Question, explore, and dare to imagine a world that reflects the full power of your creativity and love. Because when you do, you'll discover that the shift happens not just in your mind, but in every moment of your life. In this journey, we've learned that the simulation is not a trap, but a playground, a space where the boundaries of reality are fluid and ever-changing. With each thought, each moment of mindful awareness, you have the opportunity to reprogram your reality. The old scripts of fear and limitation are gradually replaced by new, empowering narratives. And when you finally embrace the truth that you are the creator of your own experience, you unlock the door to a life of limitless freedom and joy. This is your invitation to step beyond the familiar, to look into the mirror of existence without the cracks of old programming, and to see yourself as the brilliant, unbounded creator that you truly are. The journey is ongoing, the shift is continuous, and every moment offers a new beginning. Welcome to a life where you no longer just live in the simulation. You live it fully, creatively, and with a deep sense of wonder at the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. Take this message to heart and let it guide you as you move through each day. The simulation may be the stage, but you are the director, the programmer, and the ultimate creator of your own destiny. And remember, every moment you choose to live consciously is a victory over the old, limiting patterns that once held you back. Embrace the shift and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. Thank you for joining on this journey of exploration and transformation. As you go forward, keep questioning, keep creating, and most importantly, keep believing in the incredible power that lies within you. Once you truly know that you're in a simulation, the shift happens, and life becomes an endless adventure filled with wonder, creativity, and the joy of living from your highest truth.